Why did Jesus use parables? Welcome to Bible on the Go with Dr. Dan. Jesus, in his ministry on earth, after the wedding of Cana in Galilee, had his ministry with 12 disciples that he chose. And he poured into those disciples wonderful teachings about the kingdom of heaven and about life and relationship with God. And most of the time, he taught in parables. There was the lost coin, lost sheep, the wheat and the tares. Very interesting, engaging stories that got the attention of the disciples and the people. Sometimes the disciples would even ask him, "Explain to us this parable," and he would. In those cases, it's very clear. And a lot of times he was trying to get the attention of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. But why really would he do it? Well, I think one was to get our attention. When you start to tell a story, you have interest. And another would be to cause us to think and learn. And there was a pattern to each of these parables: orientation, disorientation, and reorientation. For example, the Prodigal Son. Orientation. There was a certain man that had two sons. Disorientation. The one son comes to him and says, give me my inheritance. And he goes and he spends it. And he spends all that he has. And then reorientation, when he realizes how blessed he was and said, "I'll go back to my father." And of course, the father welcomed him with open arms. Well, this pattern is built into the story and the parables that Jesus told. In fact, the Greek word parabolos is a combination of two Greek words, like a lot of Greek words are. Para, which means alongside of, and balo, which means I throw. I throw alongside of. I illustrate. I tell a story. And so, to encourage us as believers, I think, would be another reason that Jesus told these parables. And of course, to help us understand God's nature and his loving, everlasting grace. I think of two parables that are right next to each other that I want to share with you that teach the same point. In Matthew chapter 13, verse 44, Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field." You see, the point here is that treasure that he had was worth everything. It's a high value. The kingdom of heaven is worth everything you could give to get it. And the very next verse, it's so interesting, he basically teaches the same truth, but it's another parable. He says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything that he had and bought that pearl. Why? Because it's the most valuable thing ever. The kingdom of heaven is the most valuable thing ever. And in each of these verses, we have that same pattern of orientation, disorientation, reorientation. So, next time you're reading through the Gospels and you see that Jesus is telling a parable, focus in on that one parable where he throws alongside of a truth, a story to teach about the best news in the world, the kingdom of heaven, and the love of God. By the way, if you like daily devotionals, I have one. It's at my website, BibleOnTheGo.org. When you go there, you can click on the link at the top that says Praise God, and that will take you to the daily devotional for that day. And of course, for that month, there's menus that you can go back and read all the devotionals for those months, and there's hyperlinked verses that you can walk through the biblical truth. It's a wonder to behold. It's a lot of fun to do, and I hope you'll check it out. And if you really want to let me know how much you like these videos, the best thing you can do is hit that red button called subscribe. You only have to do it once, and it doesn't cost a thing. Praise God.